Yo, what's up, everyone? What's up, Barb? What's up, Kango? Async? Bearded? Yo, how's everyone doing? Okay. Is the music good? Too quiet? You guys good? What's up, Magnum? What's up, JB? Jenna, how's it going? Jesse, what's going on? Alright, cool. So, let's talk about it. Alright, well, this is already mitigated. This chart's getting a little too messy for my liking, so let's get rid of it. Okay. So let's talk about it. So This is our 4-hour high. This is our 4-hour low. This is our range. Generally, kind of, I had a meeting. Oh, Barb, thank you so much, man. So I had a meeting in my Discord. We were having like a little open chat in voice today. And I realized that I'm always pulling these ranges, but you need to understand, like, if you're coming to the charts and you're looking for a trade, generally, like, understanding where you are in the 4-hour range is important, right? So if you're looking to short, you're not really going to take a short down here, right? You'd more take a short in premium. And if you're looking to long, you're generally looking to long here. These are your extreme zones, right? So shorts are amazing up here, longs are amazing down here, and all of that has to do with risk to reward. Now, there's a couple things that I want to go over to from that chat in the Discord here, but let's just talk about price action a little bit here. So we know that we got a rejection from the golden pocket, from the golden pocket here. We know that it came in where we would. Let me get the orb off of here. We know that it came in where we would generally expect to get a rejection out of the supply that we were looking at, right? Tap the supply. Oh, there we go. There we go. Taps the supply here, comes down. One thing that we were noticing, we were talking a lot about how we didn't have structure here. Now, if you'll notice kind of where we broke down here, so we were talking for a long time about not having structure from the lows. The only time frame that we really had structure on is the 3-minute and down, and that's because of these two green candles right here. And when we came up to the golden pocket, what you'll realize is we had a bearish structure break here. Then we had like a couple stop out range deviation pushes up, and then we had the final bearish structure break here. And from that, as soon as the structure broke bearish again, we didn't even sweep this high again, right? So you take a short with your stop loss above the high. You didn't get stopped out here, and down we go. So it just shows you, like, the traders really are just waiting for structure a lot of the time. And these trades will get easier as we develop more structure. Kind of trading the range here. If we pull our volume here from the last break of structure. Yeah, so we kind of have our value area high here, value area low. We came down to our value area low. So looking at internal structure at the lows, a couple people in my Discord actually caught the long down here off the internal JPAL pattern here. Shout out to Barb and shout out to Cubanadian for noticing the same setup on Sol. So altcoins were kind of the clue because altcoins actually have external structure. I don't like to generally trade internal structure, but sometimes you gotta. I was kind of reflecting on this dump and like how I could have participated, and really just looking for internal structure breaks at key levels. Would kind of be a way that maybe if the next time we have one of these major flash crashes, I can look to get into some trades. But so we had range, initiation, mitigation, continuation at the lows here. Come up to our point of control. We've set so we broke internal 15-minute structure here. Then we SFP'd the high. Now we're looking to come down and retest this low. It looks like we've kind of lost momentum here. Yeah. So we break structure here. We put in a little JPAL pattern here, and then they stop hunt you with a couple SFPs here. So our 15-minute internal structure is bearish. We could be looking for some downside here. Okay. Probably coming back towards the lows here, unless we can reclaim momentum. Let's look at Market Cipher. Yeah, look at that. 1 hour trigger wave to the downside. Did we tap this? Let's see. So we have this area of supply here. We didn't quite tap it. Yeah, so kind of front ran the golden pocket a little bit, front ran the supply, came into the supply here. Pretty close though, pretty close. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's looking pretty bearish here. We still have a weak low at the lows here, so we're still looking to come like structurally. Unless we break above here on the 15-minute, you would expect this weak low at the lows to be attacked. Unless you're trading the range here, it's like looking for structure breaks to the highs and structure breaks to the lows. Generally, patience is going to be pretty good here, right? So, kind of what Alex says, rather trade the buns, don't trade. This is the middle of the range, right? Okay. So, one thing that we talked about in the Discord today was if I could go back and tell myself like 3 things that I wish I knew earlier in trading. So I kind of want to go over that with you guys here. So the first one is like risk management. Okay. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're interested in doing a lesson here, or throw a 2 in the chat if you just want me to do TA. Awesome. Okay, so kind of the 3 things that I would go back and tell myself in this order, or that I would focus on learning first in this order, is risk management, market structure, and no fear. Yeah, we'll get to the TA, Mark. Don't worry. Was there confirmation for any entries to catch the fall? So I just showed you on the 3-minute time frame where the short was. We had a sell box right here. It tapped the previous supply. Previous supply is where we would expect to put in a new low. So if you go back and watch that part, go over that. So let me turn the music down here. I can't focus here. Okay. Okay, so why would you start with risk management, right? Because you could have like no understanding of the charts, but a strong understanding of risk management. And as long as you're taking 3-to-1 risk to reward trades and you're risking 1% of your portfolio, you could flip a coin and enter trades. And if your win rate is above 33%, you could make money, right? Do I suggest doing that? Absolutely not, right? Because in practice it probably won't turn out like that, right? But understanding how to take a trade with good risk management, where you're basically gaining 3 times your buy-in and risking 1 buy-in, right? If you do this with 1% of your portfolio, you can take tons of trades, right? And you'll compound over time. And these two kind of go hand in hand here, right? So before I would focus on the major strategy that I use, which would be the second one, you have to understand how to survive. You have to understand how to be a trader, right? We're not gambling. You're not looking for the home run trade that's going to change your life, right? Big wins happen sometimes from leaving runners, but they're not the norm. The norm is just taking small hits, shorting the top of the range to the bottom of the range, shorting the 4-hour structure to a new low, right? The things that we do all the time on the charts. So you have to start with the boring stuff, right? Stuff like risk management. Now, next would be market structure, which is what we go over all the time here. There's a 2-hour market structure course on the channel. If you haven't watched that, I strongly suggest that you watch it. And you guys are all in here, so you guys are familiar with market structure, right? If not, stick around, you will be. The third is how to be fearless. Put a 1 in the chat if you've developed a strategy, you see something that you know works, you see a trade come up on the chart, and maybe you don't enter the trade because you took a trade that looked like it before and it lost, or you just second guess yourself when you're going to enter the trade and you're just like, okay, I'll just catch the next one, you don't enter. If that's ever happened to you, throw a 1 in the chat. All right, so I see a lot of 1s in the chat, and truthfully, it's probably all of us, right? Like, I've been there. This is why if I could go back and teach myself, it would be this, right? So what sparked this conversation was I was talking to a community member about the problem with trying to learn trading when you don't have risk management and no fear. So let's say, for example, that we're talking about the JPOW pattern that I love so much, that we trade all the time, right? A lot of the time, the problems that traders encounter is with how they evaluate the success of their trades. So let's take, for example, let's assume this was external structure, not internal structure, right? So let's say that we were looking at like this 5-minute JPOW here at the previous range here, and we took a short here. Okay, so let's say we were taking this trade. Rejection of the point of control, JPOW, trade down, right? So you take this trade and you get stopped out here, right? Okay, you took a loss. Now, you took a loss, but you are practicing these 3 things, right? Did you manage your risk? Yes. What was the risk to reward of this trade? 3.08. Awesome. Did you use market structure to enter? Yes. We're at the highs of this local range, right? And we're looking to short it back down to the lows, right? No fear, right? We took the trade. We didn't second guess it, right? So when you take this trade, you should evaluate this trade as a win, right? This trade is a win because you managed your risk, you used the strategy, and you took the trade. Now let's say, now obviously you got stopped out, right? So the trade is a loss in like your P&L, right? But you need to understand that you need to evaluate this as a win because everybody loses trades, and you cannot evaluate a strategy over the result of one trade, right? You need a big sample size of trades. So let's say you took 10 trades using this strategy or whatever strategy, right? This allows you to get your reps in because you will only start to truly understand why number 1 is so important after you have a large enough sample size of trades for you to actually see it over the long run, which leads to number 3. You cannot get to number 3 unless you can take 10 trades and feel absolutely nothing. So if you are stuck, if you put a 1 in the chat and you've gotten over it, hell yeah. If you put a 1 in the chat and you're still stuck in a state of fear, you need to do 2 things. You need to lower your position size and you need to take trades. You need to take trades. Because what can happen here, have a strategy, of course, right? But take the trades. Make sure you're in, if you're shorting, you're in premium. If you're long, you're in discount. All the stuff we talk about. but take the trades. Because what can happen here is you can see your trades go loss, loss. After these two losses, you still have to continue taking the setup. Then maybe you go loss again, and then you go win, win, loss, win, win. The confidence of getting over number 3 comes from after you check your P&L after it looks like this. Right? Because if we're risking the same amount on every trade and we're taking good risk to reward trades, you're going to see -1, -1, -1, +3. Forgive my drawings here. +3, -1, +3, +3. Right? Which means you're going to be at -3, 0, 3, 2, 5, 8. You're going to be up 8% on your account. So you're going to be +8. You've just made 8% on your account. So the next time that you enter a trade, do you think you're going to care if that trade is a loss or a win? The answer is no. You're not going to care because you're trading. And once you can shift your mindset from focusing on whether the trade is a loss, from focusing on this part of trading right here, and instead focus on this part of trading, that's when the game changes. All right, guys. I will stop talking at you guys. Yeah, we were just going over that in the Discord today, and I really wanted to get that out to you guys. So if you guys stuck around through that, you guys are awesome, and we can definitely look at some charts now. So yeah, if you guys have any charts that you guys want me to look at or any questions, you guys can throw it in the chat, and we'll just hang out for a little bit. What's up, Joey? How you doing? Okay. Alright, so let's start with 4 hour here on Siri. Alright, so Sui's come up to kind of the 786 here. Sui's one of the ones we still don't have any internal structure or any external structure on here. We did get 15-minute JPOW here at the highs. Yeah, this was kind of the short here on Sui. And then we come back up to this little supply zone here. Let's grab this here. Golden pocket rejection. Yeah. So Sui didn't really have any breakup structures up here, except for on the 1 minute here. Yes, he had the 1 minute short from the golden pocket. Structurally, so it had the same similar bottom today. A lot of these coins looked good. And then we retested demand here. Yeah, Sui's in the middle of the range. What's your view on where Sui's going to get support if Bitcoin revisits the wick low around 101? 0.56 can't be possible. Okay. Let's look on the daily for where... If Bitcoin retests 101, it's very possible that Sui eats into this wick. I mean, people thought that 58 cents wasn't possible yesterday, right? I'm not saying it's going to go there. We do have a lot of support at this spider line. I would say the first area of support down here is going to be this retest, this golden pocket, this spider line at like 250. Where did it reject from? It hasn't really even made it to the range here. We had an internal 4-hour breakup structure here. Yeah, so the problem is if we grab our 4-hour range here and we can just switch it over to premium. I mean, discount of the range is down here at $2. So if we're coming down to discount, I would anticipate that we get some sort of reaction here. Let's look at spot charts and see if they look different. Oh, this is spot. Yeah, man. Okay. So maybe we can find a little bit more support here. Yeah, so I think the unmitigated demand around 256. I think this would be a better chart to use. So if we're looking for where we'd find support, probably retesting the wick at like $2. Kind of like how discount was at $2 on the other chart. I would say $2 is a very key level for Sui. Exactly, Barb. Exactly. If you have 1 and 2, it leads to number 3. Yeah. I would say first we'd find support around 250. After that, I mean, we can take like a golden pocket here. Yeah, you may find support on these fibs on the way down, so somewhere in here. But if Bitcoin goes down to 103, I would expect Sui to at least come to $2. Okay. At hype? Yeah, we can look at hype. Yeah, these internal 4-hour market structure breaks are concerning. So hype is one of the coins that actually came back up to its previous 4-hour supply. So that would have been a nice short 886 4-hour supply out of here. I would expect it to probably come for this wick at like 35. Let's zoom in. So we have an internal 15-minute break here. Actually, let's see. Did it? Yeah, it SFP'd the high. That was a clean trade. Yeah, so it SFP'd the 15-minute high here, and now it's on its way back down. If hype breaks 38, I would expect a move back lower, probably coming to this low here. We had a clear break of momentum here. But again, it's smack dab in the middle of the range right now, right? If we take a range here, highs, lows, this is middle of the range. So don't get chopped up. Patience. If you tell me the level that you're looking at on hype, I can look a little closer. Sui syrup. I don't know. Yeah, we can look at syrup at the end if we have time here. Zen? Yeah, we can look at Zen. Is this weekly structure? Okay. Zen just had a weekly structure change out with the pull above this high, and it's retesting the high again. Yeah, so it's still in a downtrend even internally on the 1 hour. Unless we come above 13.8. If we grab the golden pocket from this move, I would say it's interesting around $10, $8 to $10. Or if you come above 13, then you could probably make a move. You could try to come up to grab this liquidity and maybe the highs. But right now, this is just a downtrend. So I would expect to come here, sweep all the liquidity in these lows, and then if you get some sort of structure break in here, that could make sense to make a run back up on the highs. Patience right now, though. I would set an alert here and then set an alert like here. Look for structure at this golden pocket. Yeah, Cheeks, it's not this is a tough environment to trade, bro. Right now, we're waiting for decisions to be made, and right now, like, all Bitcoin's doing is ranging, and we're dealing with quite a bit of internal structure. So, patience right now. If you're having trouble finding trades, just patience right now. Okay, SEI. Yeah, we can look at SEI. All right, so we had a 1 hour structure break here. We had a retest here. Yeah, guys, things are just ranging right now. We're coming into some internal supply here. We had this break at the lows, tried to pull us up to our point of control. I would have patience here. Yeah, we're smack dab in the middle of the range. You need to be patient on SEI. Co-AI? Yeah, sure. Alright, so CoAI is under bullish 4-hour structure. If we look at... Okay, this actually had a decent trade. What was this? On Monday. So we had the bullish break of structure here, and then we came back to demand here, bounced off demand, and now we're coming back up to attack the week high. So as long as CoAI doesn't lose 881, I'd look for it to come back to 1185. If we get some sort of structure here and then like a bearish flip after the break here, then yeah, we could be coming to grab all the liquidity in this up move. If you're already long on this, you're just looking for, as long as 880 holds, you should be coming up to 1181. If this holds, you're likely coming back down, probably to this unmitigated range here. But since the 4-hour is bullish, as long as the 15-minute doesn't break back bearish, any sort of move down here, if you get bullish structure, you could target this high, and then the 4-hour highs up here until we lose. Let's see, where would we break bearish 4-hour? Until we lose 375, we would be targeting back up here, right? Now, obviously, it's going to depend on what Bitcoin does, but structurally, this does have bullish 4-hour structure intact. All right, we'll look at Syrup, and then if you guys have any other trading questions, we'll answer those. It's still interesting to look at these altcoin charts. So at least some of these that you guys are giving me have structure, which is nice. Okay. All right. So Syrup breaks 4-hour here. Then we break 4-hour back bearish with the break of these lows. You come down. So you break your 4-hour back bullish here. We're initiating out now. A lot of liquidity on this move up. Okay, 1 hour. So some key zones to watch on Syrup is going to be this unmitigated demand here. And this unmitigated demand here. As long as that doesn't break, you're simply riding the trend on this, right? So if we pull back to, let's see, what would be our entry time frame? So 15 minutes bullish, 4 hours bullish, 1 hour is bullish. So this is our 1 hour low. If we lose this, we're likely coming to one of these two areas. Right now, you're just looking for us to come down to discount of the range, so somewhere under here, and get some sort of bullish 5-minute break. If you get that, stop loss here, targeting the highs. That would be the trade that I see on Syrup. Syrup has structure, so it looks a little bit better. Let's see, is that where our golden pocket is? Golden pocket, liquidity, untested demand, liquidity and slow. Yeah, somewhere around here is where I would expect to get a bounce. This is your current 5-minute high. You would expect to continue the bearish trend. Or sorry, we got a little bearish J-Pow at the highs here. Unless we break the 5-minute back bullish, you would expect to continue to fall. That just creates an opportunity to long down and discount on Syrup. Alright guys, that's enough of the altcoin charts here. Bitcoin continuing its move down here. Alright, do you guys have any other trading related questions you guys want to go over? Okay, cool. I'll look at Litecoin for you real quick, and then I think we'll call it. If you missed the beginning of the stream, make sure you go back and watch the beginning. 12-month chart. Okay. This chart doesn't really tell me anything. It's like it's gone down. Coinbase chart. Yeah, just there's nothing of interest for me on this chart. There's not enough candles, not enough data. All right, guys. Well, thank you as always for coming through. Hopefully, we'll get some structure soon, and these charts will be a lot more entertaining. I might look into signaling some internal stuff if we get to some value areas or some key areas. But no matter what happens in this market, whether we're gonna dump or we're gonna continue our run to highs, just understand whatever the environment is, we'll find trades, we'll make money. There's indecision right now. It's a hard time to trade, so don't sweat it if you're having trouble finding trades. If you're making money in this market, amazing. Make sure you guys join Alex's Discord, join the free Discord in the chat. Much love, trade safe, Wave Cipher out. See you guys tomorrow.